We're doing things a little bit differently today. Hey, what's up, ghouls and gals? Today we are on part 22 of our series talking about weird, strange, disturbing, erotic, just horror movies that people are not talking about. Could be a thriller, could be a mystery, anything under the horror umbrella that could fall under the category of movies that are not on your radar, that people are not mentioning or talking about. I pride myself on trying to find horror movies that are truly underrated and under the radar. But today I have a twist. Instead of going too deep into the movies that I am recommending, instead I'm going to recommend a double feature of another movie with the same themes as the movie I am recommending in the first place. So in reality here, you're getting 20 movie recommendations instead of 10 for this video. So if you enjoy, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out all of my links down below if you would like to see any more or support the channel any further. And don't forget to check out my Letterboxd list where we now have 220 movies that I've triple dog dare you a million times to watch all of. So, are you doing it? Starting off with number 10 and The Facility from 2012, a group of volunteers find themselves fighting for their lives when a drug trial goes horribly wrong. And with The Facility, I would like to recommend last year's Double Blind, a film that also has to deal with a drug trial gone horribly wrong. Next up, we have The Inhabitants from 2015. A young couple gets more than they bargained for when they buy a historic bed and breakfast in New England, only to discover the old house is hiding a dark secret within the walls. And I would like to recommend A Haunting in Connecticut with this one, because that movie too has a dark secret hiding in the walls. At number 8, we have The Soviet Sleep Experiment from 2019. Russian researchers in the late 1940s keep 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental stimulant. And this one is based on a creepypasta, but I would like to recommend The Devil's Pass with this one, based on the Dyatlov Pass incident. But let's change the vibe completely with number 7 and Death Factory from 2022. A group of college students decide to party at the abandoned chemical factory on the outskirts of town, unknowing that one of the former factory workers is still lurking about. And this one I would like to pair with Night of the Demons. I feel like it has the same kind of vibe, a bunch of people gathering to go party somewhere and bad things ensue. Number 6, we have Death Whisperer from 2023. When a remote village is plagued by a deadly curse, one brother must fight to save his family from a terrifying supernatural threat. This one I have to pair with The Wailing, because it also has to do with a remote village dealing with a curse of sorts. I have a really fun fact about the Unholy rollers from 1972. A roller derby newcomer soon makes enemies for refusing to play by the unwritten rules. This one was edited by Martin Scorsese back in the 70s, and I think that is so fun. But I think this one would make a really fun feature with the Roger Corman classic Death Sport. Okay, let's move into some environmental horror, starting with Unearth, a fracking horror from 2020. The relationship between 2 neighboring farm families is strained when one family chooses to lease their land to an oil and gas company. This one stars Adrian Barbaro, but I would like to pair this one with Harbinger from 2017. That film also has to do with fracking in kind of a different storyline, but I think the two movies having a very similar foundation would make it a really cool double feature, especially if you're into environmental horror. Final 3 here, Sumala from 2024. This one has a scary face that I don't like. You guys know I do not like scary faces. An evil spirit seeking vengeance returns to plague the town that wronged her sister. And this one, I think, would make a really cool double feature with Candicia from 2020, I believe. Both are kind of about vengeance, and I like that. But at number 2, we have Allison's Birthday from 1981. During a Ouija board session with her teenage friend, 16-year-old Allison gets a message from beyond the grave to not go home for her birthday 3 years later. Now, because this has a Ouija board going on, the theme is, that kind of vibe, I would like to recommend Witchboard, the 80s version, not the remake, the 80s version with Tawny Katane. That's what you gotta watch with Allison's Birthday. 2 80s movies. You guys know I love 80s horror. But finally, let's wrap it up with a more recent film, The Calendar Killer from 2025. Clara is going to die today unless she kills her husband instead. The Calendar Killer has given her that impossible choice. Now, for this last one, I'm recommending the recent film, The Guilty, with Jake Gyllenhaal. They both have to deal with a dispatcher kind of being involved in this crime setting. I think they would pair really well together. But that about wraps up 10 more films that I hope you've never heard of. Let me know in the comments if there is 1 or 2 that you have seen that you want to see, or if you haven't heard of any of these. I'm always curious to know if I'm on the right path of recommending films that no one else is. So with that, I will leave you there. I have so much exciting content planned going forward. I'm trying to change things up a little bit here. Hope you can notice, I'm hands-free now. But let me know your thoughts down below. I will see you very soon. Sayonara, Spooky fam.